Namo Devyai Mahadevyai Shivayai Satatam Namaha Nama Prakrityai Bhadrayai Namata Pranatasmatam. Salutations to the Devi, to the Divine Mother of the Universe. Salutations always to her who is auspicious. Salutations to her who is the primordial cause and the sustaining power. Salutations to her who is gracious. With mind's intent in devotion, we bow down to her. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Good morning. Thanks for coming. I want a special shout out to those people who helped us yesterday with our coastal cleanup, because we are talking today about the Divine Mother, and one of the great ways of worshiping the Divine Mother is to protect our Mother Goddess Earth. And every day in our ritualistic worship, we say, O Mother Earth, you hold all in your lap. You are held by the Supreme Lord. Hold me always and protect me and make this sea pure. So by those who helped us yesterday, thank you so much. That was a great worship of Divine Mother. So we're now in the season of the Divine Mother. We've somehow ended up at the end of September. I don't know how that happened so fast. But this is the season of the Divine Mother, this kind of fall, when the Divine Mother sort of takes up our puja calendar. In 2 weeks, we have Durga Puja, and at the end of October, we have Kali Puja, and then we have Jagadhatri Puja in November. So then there's Lakshmi Puja, Saraswati Puja, all this. Wow, it's the mother season right now. So as you know, in the Hindu tradition, there's both masculine forms of God and feminine forms of God. As we say, every Shiva has a Shakti. Every masculine aspect has a feminine aspect, and vice versa. A feminine aspect has a masculine aspect. As Sri Ramakrishna said, if you have the male principle, you have to have the female principle. If you're aware of the father, you have to know the mother. Everything, it's because otherwise it's unbalanced. In the Western tradition, we have this Western Abrahamic monotheistic tradition, which is almost, God is masculine. You know, Mary might slip in there, but she's officially a saint. She's not the Divine Mother of the universe. And I think to a great extent, this has really been harmful to the Western thought, to Western culture, and certainly to the Western psyche, because it's turned out this sort of hyper-masculinized God that makes much more of an authoritarian figure than someone that you can just embrace and feel like no fear, no worry. Everything is going to be just fine because it's your mom. So in the Hindu tradition, Sri Ramakrishna comes with Sarada Devi, Holy Mother. Jesus comes with Mary. Buddha has Jashodhara, his mother. Krishna has Radha. Rama has Sita, etc., etc. And then there are these eternal forms of the divine that you could call them paradigmatic forms, but I think that's way too cerebral for me. But basically these eternal divine forms, what we call goddesses or gods, goddesses. And these eternal forms are as true as everything else. There's forms of Durga, the protectress of the universe. Saraswati, the goddess of learning and music. There is Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity, not just money, but like prosperity and every kind of prosperity. You can have prosperity in wisdom, in generosity, in harvest, everything, this kind of great prosperity. Then there is Kali, the great goddess who combines in herself the great mother power and great fierceness at the same time. She's both benign and fierce. Now, some people will say these are mythological forms, but I have sort of a twitch when I hear the word myth, because it almost says like, that's not true. It's almost like Grimm's fairy tales or Andersen's fairy tales, and so it puts them into the children's area instead of being these great truths that are sort of eternal truths. Story or myth tells us deeper truths than history allows. Story or myth allows the human mind to encompass these truths that we can't really grasp any other way because they're outside of our reason. The ultimate reality is beyond speech and beyond the grasp of the mind. It says the ultimate reality is avamacha beyond the reach of speech and mind. So how do you explain it? How do you deal with it? That's where myth comes in. Joseph Campbell was the president of our New York Vedanta Society for many years. He helped translate the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and worked on many texts with Swami Nikhilan onto there. And he said that that the human existence and the universe itself were this great mystery. And how we bridge this great mystery was with myth, was with story. He said myth reconciles our waking consciousness to the mysterium tremendum, this great mystery of existence as it is. We can never quite figure out what life or our own existence is as it is. It's really beyond our understanding. We certainly can't understand the ultimate reality. It's beyond what this is going to take in. This is where story or myth comes in, because it allows us truths that our history, that is always written by the victors, it's not like the news items can never catch what these great truths really are. And that, of course, brings me to the topic of Mother Kali. Mother Kali is the most difficult for many people to understand, because you see this very loving, tender form, and you also see this very fierce form, and you go, okay. She can seem pretty terrifying. She was the one I never wanted my Aunt Helen in Wisconsin to find out about. It's like, Aunt Helen, I never want you to hear about Kali. I will never hear the end of it. Because she's loving and she's fierce. She's naked. She's black. She stands on the corpse of her husband, Shiva. He looks like a corpse because he's totally inert. She stands one leg here on top of him. But their eyes, his eyes are gazing at her, her eyes are gazing at him. The unity of this Brahman, Shiva, and Shakti, the active form, Kali. She has a garland of skulls around her neck, a girdle around her waist of severed human arms. Nice. And, hi, Aunt Helen. And then her two right arms, she has 4 arms, 2 right arms, okay? The first of the top arm is in the Abhaya Mudra. She gives fearlessness, great. Then the bottom arm, the Varada Mudra, the giver of boons, the giver of blessings. With the left arm, the top left arm is holding a scimitar, one of those swords, one of those curved swords that's smeared with blood and fat. That's you and me. And below that is a severed human head dripping blood. Right. So what is with the blood and the severed parts there? Okay. That severed human head, that's our ego there. Ouch. Nobody likes their ego being touched. Nobody. Not even my dog. Not even our cats. They have their pride. Nobody likes their ego being touched. No one likes being cut down to size. But that's the only way that we can ever gain somewhere in spiritual life, because our ego is the biggest obstacle we have in our spiritual life. Our absolute biggest obstacle is that ego that she's holding. She is cutting off our ego. If we're serious about our spiritual life, the ego has to be addressed. Sri Ramakrishna said the ego by itself will never go away. It's like the ashwatthaka tree. You cut it down and the next day it's shooting a sprout. So he said, make the rascal a child of the Divine Mother, a servant of the Divine Mother, a friend of God, a lover of God. But you have to tame it some way, because otherwise we will not get anywhere in our spiritual life, and then we can never be happy. Because otherwise we'll go around the same old thing again and again and again. It'll be the same old stuff. So that sword smeared with our blood and fat, that sword cuts the bonds of Maya, cuts the bonds of delusion. The only problem is that we love our Maya. We just think it's so fantastic until it starts to hurt, until it starts to give us pain, then we don't like it much. We really like our little attachments and our desires. We love our little loves. We love our little hates, our jealousies, our pettiness. We love it. We love our little foibles. We think they're cute. We love all of our attachments, our delusions, until they start to hurt, until they start to give us pain, and then we whine and cry and ask the Divine Mother to change things for us, make it different, make it not happen. But this Maya causes us pain, which inevitably does. It has to cause us pain. Why? Because it's all transitory. All those things that we get locked into that we're so bloody attached to are those very things that are transitory. They come and they go. No matter how much we love things, no matter how much we love somebody or something, it inevitably is going to go away from our grasping little hands. It is going to go away. And it inevitably causes us pain. It doesn't matter whether there are mothers or our fathers, our sisters and brothers, our husbands, our wives, our lovers, our partners, our pets, our children, our gardens, our homes, our reason, our brains, our body, our youth and beauty, our talents, the very earth itself, it's all going to go away. Swami Asheshananda repeatedly said, quoting Buddha, all compounded matter's bound to decay. And he would drill that into us again and again, because unfortunately it's true. All compounded matter is bound to decay, and we have to deal with it. Ouch. We don't like it. We want it to actually go away. The name Kali comes from the Sanskrit word kala, which means time. Time is the destroyer of all things. Whatever has a beginning is going to have an end. And we like the beginning just fine. It's the end we're not so crazy about. You know, we hear all the time people say, yeah, if I die, it's like, what? If you die? There's pretty much 100% chance of you dying. It may be today or tomorrow or next week or next year or 10 years from now or 50 years or 80 years from now, but 100% of the chance you're not going to make it out of here alive. Thank God. Thank God. It's all transitory. But we're definitely going to go. So don't pretend it's not going to happen. Deal with reality as it is, which is why we have Mother Kali, which is why we have this. This is accepting the reality as it is. Years ago, I went to Kali Puja in Hollywood. You know, every year we celebrate Kali Puja in Hollywood with a beautiful image, a statue of Mother Kali. And it's at night, and it's very dramatic. So we all went in there, and I bowed down to the goddess. And I realized when I did that in bowing down to Mother Kali, I was saying, I accept the universe as it is. I accept the facts of existence as it is. This is what Kali is. The universe as Joseph Campbell said. Making sense of the universe as it is. Again, don't change it. We all want it's like, I want to live forever, healthy. I want everything I love to be with me forever. It doesn't work that way. So if we want more than what the changing world has to offer, we have to seek for something deeper, and that's where Mother Kali comes in. Why is she black? Sri Ramakrishna said she's black because she's infinite as the night sky. He also said, you see her as black because you're far away from her. When you're far away from a lake, you think the water in the lake is black, but when you get up and you put the water in your hand, you see the water is clear. Mother, Divine Mother, is actually devoid of all qualities. She's Brahman. She's that infinite divine existence. You see, there's really no difference between Brahman, this infinite divine existence, and Shakti, this active aspect of the divine, or what we call Devi. Divine Mother is Shakti. That's the active aspect. It's like a snake. He said you can't separate snake from its wriggling motion. When it's inactive, you'll say when it's like just laying there, it's Brahman, inactive. When the snake begins to move, Shakti. So Brahman, we say Brahman when it's inactive, when it's engaged in creation, preservation, and destruction, we call her Shakti. But it's two sides of the same coin. You can't separate it. He said you can't separate milk from its whiteness. In the same way we can't separate Brahman from Shakti. They both go together. Some years ago, there was a seminar on the Divine Mother at UCSB. And Swami Swahananda was asked to be one of the speakers. They had all the top scholars, blah, 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 on the Divine Feminine from every tradition. And this Swami Swahananda gave a wonderful talk. And at the end of the talk, there were questions and answers. And one of the students said to Swami, she said, Swami, I don't understand how you can call that goddess mother. She's got a sword, she's got head, she's got dripping blood. How can you call her mother? And he said, without missing a beat, he said, do you want a namby-pamby mother, or do you want someone to protect you? And everybody in the audience just got it. He was so fast on his feet. But it's true. Do you want to have a mother? If your mother can't protect you, she is totally useless. It's like someone comes to kidnap your child. No, I'm sorry, I'm meditating. I'll deal with it in about a half an hour, okay? It's like, A mother is a mama bear. You get between her and her child, and she's going to rip your face off. That is Mother Kali. A mother as fierce as only a mother can be. You want that kind of fierceness. You want that kind of protection. You know, when you pull a child back from putting the hand in the fire, they're going to scream, yeah, I want to. You pull a child, I want to go. They want to go swimming in that nice river that's got a real strong current. You pull them back, I hate you, everyone else can do it except for me. It's like, no, you don't, no. And at the time, we scream and we cry and we say, no, you change your mind. You change your mind. And at the end, we say, 30 years later, we say, thank you for doing that. That was kind of a good idea. I didn't realize it at the time. She grabs our hand and pulls us back. That's what the Divine Mother, we don't see it at the time. We will see it later. We will see how everything has to happen as it has to happen. But the problem is we love our Maya so much. It's like those polyester coats. And if they catch on fire, they melt right under your skin and they burn. And instead of us pulling it off, we just hold it closer. I need it, I have to have it. This is who I am, this is who I am. And the Divine Mother pulls it off, and then we say, oh, thank God. That was hurting so much. But we don't realize it until she pulls it off, because we're not going to pull it off. That's what that sword is for. We're not going to pull it off because we like it way too much. When we're free of our attachment to it, then we see what pain it was causing us. And then we realize it was the Divine Mother who was taking care of us all along. So what about Durga? Well, in 2 weeks, on the 5th of October, we're going to be celebrating Durga Puja. And she is the protectress of the universe. 2 weeks from today, we're going to be chanting Jai Shri Durga from 10:30 a.m. until 11:18. Why is this so specific? Because it's the 48 minutes that we commemorate and celebrate Mother Durga's victory over the demons. Okay, because Durga is the savior and the protectress of the universe. As the Chandi, the Devi Mahatmya in the sacred text says, O Queen of the universe, you protect the universe. As the self of the universe, you support the universe. You are the goddess worthy to be adored by the Lord of the universe. Those who bow in devotion to you themselves become the refuge of the universe. Such powerful words. Mother Durga rides a lion or a tiger, and she has many arms depending on her mood, 4, 6, 8, 10, 16, but every one of those arms carries a weapon because she has to fight the demons. And that's why we're chanting Jai Shri Durga for 48 minutes, because during this time she's killing the demons. So what about the demons, you're saying? What kind of religion is this? Well, these demons are outside of us and inside of us. And every one of them gives us grief, no matter whether outside or inside. They give us grief, and they make us feel smaller than we really are. And that is what Mother Durga is taking on. The battle that Mother Durga is taking on is a battle that we all have to face, sometimes on a daily basis. It's the battle we all have. As long as we're embodied, this is a battle we all have to deal with. Now, the Chandi, or this Devi Mahatmyam, tells of the battle. It's really the story of the battle between the goddess and the demons, but kind of saying that's similar to saying, well, the Bhagavad Gita is about the Kurukshetra war. No, it's a sacred text that has profound meaning. And many spiritual teachers and swamis will recommend reading it, sometimes very frequently. Swami Sheshananda was a great believer in reciting the Chandi. I highly recommend David Nelson's translation in Praise of the Goddess. It's in our book. It's a wonderful, wonderful, approachable translation, which is just an illuminating book. So in this battle, the short version is, the gods are overtaken by the demons, and they're helpless, of course. So, of course, they have to invoke the great goddess. They invoke the supreme goddess, and she goes out and she kills. Eventually, she goes to this great battle, and she kills the demons. So, what are these demons? Well, they're ones that are familiar to us all. Pride, arrogance, deceitfulness, anger, lust, manipulativeness, arrogance. Those are the demons that she's killing. But even as she destroys these demons, she's doing it with this beautiful, calm face. She has a serene smile on her face. And as she kills them, she grants them liberation. She gives them release from their demonic nature, which is what we all want, right? Nobody likes being in the grip of anger. Nobody likes being in the grip of hate. Nobody likes being in the grip of jealousy, of smallness. This is what the Divine Mother gives. And then we think, oh, well, easy for her. She's a goddess. She can ride a lion. I got to deal with this, and I got to deal with that, and I have to deal with all these things. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. It's too much. And that's when we turn it over to Mother Durga and invoke her. As the Chandi says, when in times of distress, when you remember me when you're in times of distress, I remove fear from every being. And when you remember me when your mind is calm, I give you even greater serenity of mind. That's what we gain. In the Chandi, the great Rishi, who is speaking throughout this whole Chandi, says that it is the great goddess, the great supreme goddess who creates this universe. And it is she herself who binds us in this delusion with her power of Maya, or what they call Mahamaya, this great delusion. So she keeps us in this spell of attachment and delusion, going around and around again in this whirl of samsara of birth and death and rebirth and death and more attachment and more desires, and keeping us going around and around. It is she who, this magical power of delusion, Mahamaya, does this. But on the other hand, she's also the one who gives us final release. She's the one who gives us freedom from these bonds. So it really depends on what we want. The Chandi very famously says, Bhukti Mukti Pradayani Narayani Namostate. O you who are the giver of all enjoyments, as well as final liberation, salutations to you. So it really depends on what we want. So what do we gain? What do we receive from Mother Durga? We receive fearlessness and strength and calmness in the face of a storm. That's what we get from her. When we think of this calm strength and infinite love and patience, we really end up thinking about our own Holy Mother, Sri Sarada Devi, who is certainly a sweet manifestation of the divine. You know, it's no accident that Sarada Devi is identified with Durga. In our daily worship of Sri Sarada Devi, we say salutations to Sarada Devi, who is the Jagadatri Durga. Jagadhatri is the manifestation of Mother Durga as the support and maintainer, protectors of the universe. So there is a strong identification. In her home village, she started the worship of Jagadhatri Puja every year. So it's kind of natural that we talk about the Divine Mother. We have to talk about Holy Mother Sarada Devi. She was surely the sweetest manifestation of the Divine Mother. She taught the highest truths of the Vedanta in the most sweet and natural, simplest way. She literally saw every being as her own child, not only people, but other beings as well. One of her disciples said, "Mother, am I your child?" "Yes. Yes, Baba, you are my own child." "What about that person?" "Yes, he is my child." "What about that person?" "Yes." "What about this dog?" "Yes." "What about that cat?" "Yes." "Certainly he is my child." She held everyone in that affectionate, warm embrace of being her own child. Christopher Isherwood wrote that as Holy Mother grew older, she inhabited a world that consisted entirely of her own children. Imagine that. A world that consisted entirely of her own children. Every being was her own child. We all teach the oneness of existence, but what a wonderful way to do it in such a sweet way. She did it through, Vedanta teaches the oneness of existence. Atman and Brahman are one. There's no distinction between being and being. There's only this one infinite divine reality masquerading in all these different names and forms. We're all wearing these permanent Halloween costumes. When you get beneath these costumes, there's one infinite divine reality. It's like, I don't have one Atman and you have another. Only one infinite divine reality. And she did it in the sweetest, most natural way, by seeing literally everyone as her own child. Not only that, she prayed. She actually prayed that she did not see faults in others. She actually prayed, and she got to the point she could not literally see anyone else's faults. And her last message to the world was, "My child, if you want to find peace of mind, do not find faults in others. Rather, see your own faults." That ego hanging out there with the blood dripping down, that one. Rather, see your own faults. And then she said, "No one is a stranger, my child. The whole world is your own." This literal seeing oneness of existence through seeing everyone as her child. What a sweet way of recognizing the oneness everywhere through this intense power of love and protection. Ramakrishna said about her, Sarada, her name is Sarada, which is a name of the Saraswati, the goddess of learning. She said, her name is Sarada, Saraswati. She is born to bestow knowledge on others. That was what she was born to do, to give spiritual knowledge to others. There's this wonderful example that really brings it home. Once a very old woman, tired, arrived at her home. She was old, she was low caste. And she arrived at her home in Jairambati. She had come from a neighboring village, bring a load of things that someone else had sent to her. One of her devotees in another village had said, "Carry this over to village at Jairambati and deliver it." So she did. She was old, low caste, and she was exhausted and hot when she arrived there. And Mother saw this, and so she said, "Oh, my child, my child, go take a bath. Take a bath, cool yourself off, and take a rest." And she did. And then Mother gave her some puffed rice and molasses, and she was very happy. And then Mother saw it was getting late, and she shouldn't be walking home at that hour. It would be getting dark in India. When it gets dark, it doesn't just like little bit, it goes dark. It's like the light bulb is either on or off. There's no in between. So it's like, "My child, spend the night here." So this old woman spent the night on the veranda where it was cool, and she slept. But during the night, she not only was old and tired, but she also had malaria. So during the night, she soiled the veranda. And Mother woke and saw that. And she realized that if anyone else discovered that, that poor woman would have hell to pay. Because she was low caste, and because you don't do this to this house that's inhabited by Brahmins. So Mother realized, oh. So Mother woke her and said, my child, it is best if you leave now when it's cool in the morning. So she gave her something to eat, and the woman went on her way very happy. And meanwhile, the mother cleaned it herself with her own hands. Remember, this is India, 19th century. She's got Ganges water, her hand. We're not talking plastic gloves, no such thing. We're not talking about handy wipes, no such thing. No Purell, no such thing. We're talking about her hand and a piece of an old sari, or maybe her own sari, who knows? And probably a piece of an old sari, and she's cleaning it up. Now, what's remarkable about this is how unremarkable. The only reason we even know about this is one of her attendants came over and said, Mother, why is the veranda, who's cleaned the veranda? Who cleaned the veranda? And Mother said, oh, I did. Why did you clean the veranda? So then the story came up. By this time, the woman was long gone. Now, I've met many a man and woman who said, oh my God, I could never clean a diaper. I could never, I would just throw up. No, I'm never going to do it. When they have their own child, they don't think a thing about it. Because to clean the diaper of your beloved child is an act of love and tenderness. You don't think twice about it. You don't get disgusted. It's your baby. For Holy Mother, it was the same thing. It was her baby. It was her little child that she was cleaning up after. There was no disgust. Now, we have no concept of caste over here. We have no paradigm to put it in. But let's say that instead of a low caste old woman, let's say we had a homeless person that showed up that we'd never seen before in my life, and that guy's sick. And we clean up with our own hands, and we don't tell anybody because it's my own child that I'm cleaning up after with my own hands. That might give us some sense of how deep that motherliness went in her, how much she saw literally every being as her own child, as are we all, as are we all. So what do we receive from the Divine Mother? Simple answer, everything. Everything. Divine Mother is Bhukti Mukti Pradayani. She is the giver of all enjoyment, and she's the giver of final liberation. So then we have to ask ourselves, well, what do we want? What do we really want? But then we have to remember what St. Teresa of Avila said. More tears are shed from answered prayers than from unanswered prayers. So we have to be careful about what we wish for. And remember that we don't want to be surrounded by too many of those polyester coats that catch on fire. We don't want to put ourselves into situations that will inevitably give us pain. We have to also remember that Mother is always there and available for us. And that is Mother herself that makes the impossible possible. Thank you. Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadguru Padpadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Salutations to Sri Ramakrishna and Sri Sarada Devi. To them I bow down again and again.